Join your hands and welcome RAPHAEL Villegas.
Okay, it's intimidating. Thank you to be here today. Like Jean said, it's a very important topic, and to be honest, I hesitate a lot to speak about this subject because it's a subject that divide the community in heart. Some people like, some people disliked, but overall is there, and we need to speak about that subject. Before that, I just want to introduce myself quickly, but Jean did a lot already, so I will be fast. I started in the matte painting as a matte painter for video projection in different show all around the world. After that, I've been a freelance illustrators for many individuals, games, and also book covers, like you can see here. And I did a lot of painting in my life. Here is just 2015, and it's only my personal works. So I love to paint. I just to maintain that statement. And I continue to draw. It's something that I did last years. Every time I'm traveling, I draw and paint a lot also. After that, I've built co-founded a video game studio here in Belgium. It was called Curiouscraft. I was working for different institution here in Belgium, a museum, a Proximus, some bank, and also my own IP is there. It's Canon Malls, and we've been in the Gamescom with this project years ago. And just after that, for a years, I was creative directors for brand agencies where I did a lot of stuff, but it was more graphic design, so I had to learn that too. And I was creating AR and VR project to bring new technology to the brand communication. Then for 5 years, the last 5 years, I've been the main concept artist at Appeal Studio here in Charleroi. Working on titles such as Outcast or Gangs of Sherwood have been presented this morning. So yeah, I did a lot of things, and now I am the art director of Abrakam at Liège, still here in Belgium. And all those jobs had a common point. This common point is that I had to managed to evolve my career to learn new skills all for the 10 years and plus of years of working. So I've learned photo bashing first, then I improved my drawing skills, painting skills. I had to learn also 3Ds. And when VR comes up in 2015, I had to learn to see if those new tools could be implemented in my approach of creating new pictures, and I did it. It was very effective to generate more organic stuff, sculptures, and so on. So it was natural for me to include the AI when it happened on the market. 3 years or more. Yeah, it's quite old AI. A lot of people is speaking about Midjourney, but it's just now. But 3 years ago, there were some early technologies that was made by NVIDIA. Maybe you heard about Gogan. But at that time, it already blown my mind, the capabilities of this technology. So it was natural for me as a producer for different kind of industry to stay in the evolution of the technology, creative technologies. So I will just ask one question for you for start. You can yell for you in the 3 years to come, how many content generated by AI will be found on internet? You can yell a percentage. 30, okay. 75, okay. The real numbers is 90. It's a lot. It's a lot. It means that most of the content that you will see in the years to come will be at least touched by AI, because there is a lot of application that you can find already on mobile device. So it's not 90% generated by the professional. It's you in your daily life. You can integrate it, AI with Instagram and other stuff like this. There is an application that is called Lanza app that have been in the pocket of everyone since a years now. Another important numbers, and it's for you. 50% of the content of a game in the 5 to 10 years will be generated by AI or assisted by AI. So it means that it's there and it won't change. It will continue in that direction, that even if we like it or not, we will have to adapt a bit. I say it a bit because you will have the choice to integrate it in the manners that fit the best for you. Okay, what is the current issue? What is the real problem that we are facing off? Is the copyright issues. What are honoring a lot of artists is that the database that is used currently to generate those pictures have been scrapped from the internet with a lot of copyrightable materials. But not only, there is also medicals, pictures from some X-rays and so on. So we have seen a lot of problem with those database for the moment, but it's just a question of time to see some corporate find a solution to these issues. In America, they have stated a few months ago that it's a gray area. It means that you can't copyright something that have been built by AI. So it means that if you publish the pictures that you have generated by Midjourney, for example, everybody can stole it and use it like they want, and nobody wants that, of course. And there is a catch. If you modify it at first, let's say that you push a sketch and you use AI to make evolve this sketch, you can't protect it because the human is involved in the process. And in the other ways, it's the same. If you generate the pictures by AIs, and you paint on top of it or do some photo collage, let's say, you can protect it because the human is involved in the process. And it will just, depending of the appreciation of the judge at the court, if something happened, to say if it's relevant to protect it or not. So that's the first issue. But the real one is more ethics. What do we think about AI? It replaces jobs. It replaces the artistic expression that we have as a human. Is it right? And I don't have the answer today, but like I said at the beginning, it's there. And so we need to think about that and think about what we think as individual artists, how we can use it, using it and staying ethical. Maybe by finding good tools that it's ethical in their database, for example. So the first thing that you can do is protect your work. There is a tool that have been available since few months now that it's called Glazed. It's created by the MITs, and the idea is to send your pictures into these softwares, and the interpretation of the AIs behind will be what you can see on the right. So it will corrupt the data in a certain way. So it's a first approach to protect your works when you upload your screen of 3Ds on ArtStation, for example, or illustration. But there is already some tools that counter-attack this solution. But since this week, I've heard about Nightshades. I don't have all the information about this, but the idea is to drive a kind of poison into those tools of AI generating tools. So when they will take your data inside their database, it will corrupt some of their files. So let's see what it will go in the futures, where we will go in the futures. The only thing we can do now is to be careful with the contract that we are signing with the different clients. You can be sure that in the futures, we will have some part of the contract that will mention the use of your works in AIs, because many companies will build their own data to protect themselves from the copyright issues. That's normal. So maybe we will have the possibility to sell the use of the artwork first for the use inside the games and for the commercial, for example, but maybe we will have news information and new pay, let's say, to being paid a bit more by selling the right to use those information into the database. Yeah. Okay. You probably saw this strike in America, in Hollywood, since few months now. It's a huge strike, and AI was not the only problem, but it was one of the one mentioned because some actors start to be replaced by AI. When you see people in the background, they rely less and less to actors to fill those gaps. So, and it will be more and more easy to do that kind of stuff in the futures, as you will see in this presentation. So it's a huge changement of the society right now. And the last part of to protect yourself is the social media, of course, because each network is starting to create their own database right now. Here is just an example of Facebook, for example. I have a friend of mine and many others that Facebook just released an information 3 weeks ago, I believe, to let you take out your data from the training of their database. But when you do this, two weeks after your request, they send you a message like this, saying that the reason you want for taking out your data is not enough to do it. So in fact, you are still blocked by Facebook and maybe the other big companies. So everything that you put and you do on those platforms can be used now to train their data. It could be photography, artwork, text, messages, email, everything is used to train those data. So what matters for us is more the current state of the game industries. And like I said, just at the entry, it's a big change. It is used, yes, here is some big names that probably all of you knows, such as the engine, but also games company. All of them these years made a lot of statement of what they want to use AI in their future production. Epic Games have made some statement to add some AI tools to generate NPC dialogues, for example, or just helping you to generate code. Unity did equally the same. NVIDIA, you already use it with the last graphic card. They use AI to calculate differently the thing that you see at the screen to have a better result with less calculation. Blizzard plan to use it to generate textures and new artwork based on everything they did in the past years. It's a big move. Ubisoft also made a big statement, but more for the writer, and they plan to make something that is called ghost writers, and the idea is just to help the writers and the game designer to make a connection between the different NPC in the game and generate new ones, and to understand the correlation between each of the characters inside their giant games. Roblox, maybe you know that too, but Roblox is a kind of game engine now for kids or young peoples, and they can build their own game inside a small ecosystem. And they also plan to add AI to generate textures, and we could imagine that in the futures we will be able to generate also 3D content. And last that I will spoke about is Microsoft. Of course, they have the plan to create something called Copilot. At first, it was to help developers to have a kind of assistant, and now they want to deploy this in all the ecosystem of Windows. It will be released the next years. And to give you an example, when you will have a PDF and you will have this assistant, you will have the opportunity to ask to analyze this document, and he will be able to use those data to make a kind of resume or generate an Excel or a synthesis about those documents. It will be a very powerful tool, and it's almost there. Here is some department in the game industries and some tools that are already available and some used. Let's see the data analytics, for example, for the QAs. For Final Fantasy 16, they'll already use those tools to assist them in the QA of these games. So it's already there. But there is not only the big studio. Here's all the students and others that I see in this conference. Listen to me, it's probably more a small studio, and that's what interests you. Here's, you can take a pictures because the link is very long, but this is a small company that's doing game on mobile devices, and they explain how they have integrated AI to create their own database based on their how work. So it's a safe one, let's say, and what they obtain and how they edit this artwork to have the final result to match to all the brand they are creating. That's not all. You can send the videos of this game, echoes of somewheres. So here is also very interesting because this guy is creating a game alone. Most of the pictures that you will see have been generated by AI, but plus the skills of a 3D artist. It means that you can see it's projection mapping mostly, but he doesn't design anything you can see in these pictures, even the train and so on. Yes, it's in 3D, but it's a simple projection on simple 3D models. For me, I think that it's lack of art direction. Clearly, we can recognize AI and Midjourney from, let's say, 5 months ago, but still it's interesting to see some experimentation that is already done and how it could be powerful because you have the choice of many things, the angle of the camera, you have a mood, and you can generate additional content that you can compose directly in Unity or Unreal, for example, because you can see that there is some animation and so on. So he takes the time to improve the rendering that he obtained with Midjourney, for example. But there is a catch also for that. You can stop the video, please. Thank you. There is a catch because Steam have made the statement that his content can't be sold on their platform because the data is not secure and have a lot of copyrightable material. Midjourney don't give a lot of information about how they build their data set. So yeah, Steam said, okay, no to that kind of content. You will be able to sell it only if you provide some proof about how you build your AI. So there is a kind of protection currently on the market, thankfully to Steam. But in the other side, Epic have their own store also, and they say, okay, AI is welcome to our platform because they are in a kind of competition now. And Tim Sweeney, the directors of Epics, really love AI. He make a lot of talk about that, and we can see where it's going for Unreal, for ArtStation, and a lot of company from Tim Sweeney. Okay, so everyone is jumping in the train, don't miss it. Is it really that? That's the thing that I heard since months, years now, that AI will replace everyone. And I have a mixed feeling because that's for sure, if we don't adapt a bit, at least coming to that kind of event and be aware of what is happening. If we see that I can say that. If we see that the market is evolving and the company too, there will be a change in the job of everyone. And that's normal that they will rely on people that have the knowledge to use those new tools. That's normal. But there will be still some places for more traditional game makers, as it have always been. This morning I've been at the conference for Dordogne, and it's a great example to see that in the futures, it's still possible to bring more, old media and mix everything together. So what's maybe interests you, it's what are the available tools. One of them is Adobe Firefly. Maybe you heard about that. It's already inside Photoshop since 8 months in beta, and since few months, 1 or 2 officially released. But they plan to grow and install this in every software they have built until now. It will be Illustrators, After Effects, and they did a conference 2 weeks ago, Adobe Max, where they shown the new technology that they will include in their solution in the futures, and it was incredible, very impressive, and I was a bit scared, but still it's interesting. Here is just a video about Firefly, but for Photoshop only. You can launch the video, please. So as you can see, it's like other generators. You have just to write a sentence and you will have pictures out of it, but it's go further because now that it's included in Photoshop, you can extend your pictures, you can change part of the pictures. well, in staying in the same environment of works. And Photoshop is used by almost everyone, so it's there also. We can't ignore that it's now used by everyone. And it's shown here also in illustrators. At that time, you were only able to change the colors state by just a text. But with the new release of AI, they will do in the months to come, you will be able to generate vectors directly from a text. So you will have much more possibility than a bitmap generation like this. And yeah, that's very impressive. So let's play just small games. You will have few seconds to see the stock market of Adobe and find the AI images, and you will have to yell the numbers of pictures that you have seen through that time. I will make a small dance. Quick, 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 quick. I'll let you 20 seconds. Okay, you can yell. All of them? Let you, in 3 years maybe. 14, you don't see 14 people, 14 images there. How much? 17, it's just abstract. It's 5 pictures. But of course, it's difficult to recognize how much pictures is there because everything could be AI now. And you could already sell those pictures. It's on the market. And Fireflies is based on those content. It means that in the futures, their data will be trained on photorealistic photography, the real photography, illustration, but also feed by AI content. So let's see what it would be in the futures. But it's very impressive because even if we, as an expert, I can see some problem in some pictures. I can recognize a bit some AI's pictures. I have more and more difficulties to recognize them. Yeah, it's there. And of course, they make some, they put the information. I don't guess that it's AI. You can find when they sell AI at the same price as a normal photography. And so you can sell your content generated by AI on this platform. We can be sure that in the futures to follow the images that have been generated and to protect ourselves, Photoshop, for example, will include some data inside their file to keep a track of those AI-generated pictures. It's not a video, but you can find it on internet. You need to see that because currently you can make some fill generation inside Photoshop. You probably use it and it's very powerful, like you see in the video before. Here is now included directly in the videos. So at the beginning, this guy did not had any tie. So it means that you can make complex editing in matters of seconds now. In the video, we can see that they had the tie, but also it understands the lighting condition. So during all the videos, the lighting is adapting to the changement of this information. That's very impressive, and it will be included inside After Effects and Adobe Premiere the next years. So the other tools that are existing outside Adobe suite, maybe you know them. Midjourney, of course, is the most popular. Like I say, the data set is wacky. We need to be careful by the use of those tools, maybe for inspiration, but for final data, I would advise to not use it. It's by subscription, easy to use, but you have a limited control because except writing what you want, you can't do anything else. The other one is Stable Diffusion. That's the one that I use the most because you have a maximum of control. There is a lot of plugin available on internet. It's free if you install it in your computers. Medium difficulty because there is a lot of parameters to take account when you are creating a pictures, and to install it is not that easy, but there is a lot of information on YouTube to do that, so it's not that difficult. And you have the maximum of control because with the plugin, you can decide on the pose of the characters, the style of the pictures. You have much more control on everything you are doing now. Another one that maybe you know, it's DALL-E. It was one of the first. It's created by OpenAI, and OpenAI are the creators of ChatGPT, and you know how it's powerful. So now they implemented ChatGPT inside DALL-E. So ChatGPT help you to generate some prompt. So prompt engineer won't be a job. You need to be careful about that because writing good sentence won't be a difficulty in the weeks to come, for sure. What is impressive with DALL-E is that ChatGPT have the abilities to understand the pictures very well and to analyze it. So if you ask him, for example, to say, okay, I really like the second pictures, do me the same but with another action, he will be able to reproduce perfectly the styles and change the action or change the animals or everything that you see in these pictures. So it's very, very powerful. Okay, the next one is Viscom. Viscom say that they have saved data. So let's see if it's possible to have a real solution. It's maybe a beginning of something. Here it's more for the designers. So you give a sketch and it helps you to take out final pictures, or at least to have some material, some lighting condition. And as you can see, the interface is also different. The idea is to collaborate with different designers on the same pages. So it's interesting to see what's happening right now. You have midterm control because you can put sketches, but nothing more than a sketch plus sentences. Probably you know Canva too. Canva is on the hand of everyone. It's a kind of Photoshop, but for amateur on internet. It helps you to make some design. And since few weeks, they have included some image to text to image generation inside their platform. Like I was saying at the beginning that it was in the hand of everyone, and that's true. They don't need to go to Discord. They just need to use their usual tool now to find AI. Is it ethical? They say yes, because they have made some partnership with iStock Photo and other platform like this that already have copyrightable material, but they have the right to use them. And one of the most impressive, it would be better with the video, but I don't have it for this presentation, but it's a text to videos generation. For months, it was a bit ridiculous, the result, to be honest, but this one was very impressive and blown my mind this week. I found it this week because now it's stable. It's you don't have artifact that change the pictures every seconds, every 2 pictures. You have some pan of camera, zoom, dezoom. You have the background that it's don't move, and yes, the result is very impressive. Moon Valley will be for sure be a game changer in the video editing. And one of the tools that impressed me the most also, it was this one, CSM, but there is probably other one. Give you the opportunity to generate 3D models out of still pictures. And as you can see, even if it's not always correct for the dog, for example, it had some information. Why? I don't know. It depends on their data set. But for the armor or the goblin, the result is very convincing, because if you look at the goblin, at first it was not, it's not in front, it's in perspective, and the lighting condition is different, but the output is quite okay. So we can imagine that in the future it will go further. Okay, I can say just one thing: the 3D model that you obtain is very bad. But if we follow the trend with Unreal, for example, and the night, those technology give you the opportunity to implement very dense geometry. So in the futures, it's pretty sure that you won't have to optimize your 3D models to include them in a game, or at least not that much. I will breathe a bit. And the last tool that I want to show you, it's just a small thing, but it's to generate HDRI. So you can generate a 360 pictures. It can be used for 3D theme, but also in the game. So yeah, it's impressive to see all the things that are happening right now everywhere. But what are those tools are able to do? But everything, it's just depending of you as an artist. You are creative. You have the ability to include them or not, to use them at the beginning or not. You can let the computers make a picture for you, but as an artist, that's not what you want to do. And it's exactly my position. I'm an artist, as I show you at the beginning of the presentation. I love to paint and I want to keep that in my hand. And ever more than now I am an art director, and everything that I decide, it have to be from my spirit before to use those kind of tools. So I will show you a bit. Oh no, just there is a few slides before, but I already talked about that. But AI become mainstream. Lensa app, everyone has that in their pocket. There is also for the streamer. Now you can change your voice more than with filters. You have also real AI generated voice in live for your live stream. Okay, how do I use AI? It's a big topic, but not very difficult to understand why I'm going in that direction. First is to generate textures. As a concept artist first, I don't have the time to paint everything. My goal is to generate an idea at first. So sometimes it's very useful to buy textures on textures.com, for example. But most of the time, I don't find exactly what I want. And with AI, I can make plenty of generation to find the thing that I really need and mix something that I could not do in only a few hours of time to produce content. The other things that I can use with that is Deep Bump on Blenders. It's a free plugin that will generate normal map directly. It takes 20 seconds to have results. And so I can use that in game engine or directly on Blender for me as a concept artist. And as you can see, the sentences that I'm using, the prompt is quite easy. You just need to add tile at the end of your sentence to have something that is tileable. And here is the result in only 10 minutes between the generation of the textures on Midjourney, then putting it in the blenders and using Deep Bump and having my volumes set up in blenders. So as you can see, it's accelerate the process. And what do I think as an artist? Well, I don't have the time to do that. I'm more concentrate on the big pictures. I'm interested to tell stories and not painting some plank or rock. Sometimes I do it, I paint on top of it, I adapt to my needs, but most of the time that kind of tool could save, it could save the production. With Midjourney, I could also drive the art direction with my colleague by giving them some pictures of effects that I want in the production. We can't find everything on Pinterest. We can't rely on this because it's always the same pictures again and again and again. But with AI, you can generate and mix the stuff that you never seen with only few prompts, few words, and say, okay, that's what I want. Of course, it's not always the most interesting ideas, but you have the time to generate a lot of proposal until you find the right one. And as you can see, it could be used for realistic stuff, but also stylized stuff. And like I said, it's unlimited. So I can search until I find the right one. You could ask yourself, is it really necessary to generate all those stuff? I could generate the right one by painting, and you could have right about this statement that only one could be the good one, but in a short amount of time when you are in a real production, you don't always have the time to find the good ideas. You have a reality, the time you can spend on pictures, and you want to search more and more and more to have the right one, the right choice. And I've been struggling a lot in my different production by just giving the first choice I had in mind with the time that I was given to do it. And with that kind of tool, I can search a bit more. So it's better for the production. So it could be also for inspiration, of course, but not only. I could use some part of those pictures to do some kind of photo bashing for the materials. In concept art, it's usual to use photography to add materials to a concept. What is important here in this picture, you can see these little girls in pink. You can see that it generates a turn around of characters. So if you had that with the photogrammetry technology, we could imagine that in only months to come, we will have the abilities to generate 3D models like you saw in CMS. It's probably the same technologies. And yeah, generate complex models with photogrammetry. It's also for different kind of inspiration. It's not only characters. It can be also used for architectures, props, also icons, as you can see in the bottom of these pages. Of course, as an artist, I prefer to imagine all of those things by myself, but it can be a nice starting point if I just want to see if my ideas could work before to paint for a day or two to have several proposals. Using that kind of tools give me the abilities to think by myself, keeping those research for myself before to do the final concept. An interesting experimentation that I did a few months ago now with Midjourney, because you can send pictures and let it interpret what it saw. So I sent my living room. I was looking for ideas to make some decoration, and it understand the art movement that I was doing in my living room and give me some new rooms, and it helped me to see what kind of stuff I could add in my living room to have a nice decoration. It was a great help, but it was just an experimentation, of course. And this experimentation bring me to thinking that, okay, if I can send the pictures, maybe I can send multiple pictures. Here is a real contract. They give me the authorization to speak about it, but they wanted a mix of two different games. And I didn't add a lot of time to think about that. It was for an indie game studio, and they don't have a lot of money to put into concept art. So I had to be smart to propose an idea. So I mixed two screens of two games, and it gave me some ideas of colors, composition, some small element, even if the detail is not very well defined. That's my job to define that. And also some inspiration for some weird swamp. And here's the result. It's not AI. I painted this and made the 3D on Blender, but still the textures of the building, for example, have been generated by AI, and I've made some changes and paint on top of it. The icon of the gun is made by AI too. I did not have the time to do those small details. The goal was to give an overall ideas, and I had to find some shortcut, and AI helped me to bring my vision to life. It's a very old pictures of mine, back 3 years ago almost, but already at that time, when it was not a controversy to use AI, I found a way to use it already. So I just generated a lot of background. It was with a tool called Art. At that time, the control was very limited, but I was already excited by the possibilities. And I had the ideas of those small houses, but not the time to paint a background. And here you have the ability to mix all those technologies. And I was keeping the control of the overall pictures at the end. It could be also a starting point. As you can see, the pictures on the top right, it's also at the beginning of Midjourney, but already at that time, I saw the possibilities. So painting on top of it to generate new design, it was a good starting point. For me as a concept artist, it was very exciting to have something to start my ideas. It's like when you see an abstract painting, everyone is saying something different. And with those abstract shape that Midjourney offering me at that time, it was an opportunity. It was during the production of Gang of Sherwood, but it never been implemented during the production. And I show you CSM to generate 3D models, but back in time, also 3 years ago, it was already available. I just had to put a still pictures of someone with a front position, and it was giving me a 3D models out of those technologies. So it was there way before that it was a problem to use AI. And it's quite powerful also. The model is not very defined, but still it understands the position of the hand, the arm. It gives you some depth, as you can see on the night. So yes, when I saw that years ago, I already saw that the industry was on the edge of changing a lot. It's also interesting for concept art to give iteration. It was also a small experimentation on one of my illustration. So I built a concept by simple technology, 3Ds and painting, and then put this into the AI. It was Stable Diffusion at that time, and just write some different architectural movement, and it gave me different result. And as a concept artist, most of my job is throw to get the garbage every day. So you will only see 10% of what I produce on my portfolio, and the rest will never appears in a game or in a book. So it's very frustrating, even if I love to paint and search. But with that kind of tool, I can rely on something and be less frustrated and look for the best idea, like I said before. In an interesting way to use AI too, it's to keep the control, like I said. I love to draw, I love to paint, I love the ideas that I could come with. Even if AI could generate really nice stuff, I prefer to draw. But rendering time don't bring more information to me. When I draw my sketch, it's enough to drive an idea, but in real production, they want very push drawing with material and so on to be sure that it will be the great ideas they want. And I don't want to spend a week to render a small characters. So with the help of AI, I can generate my idea like I do usually. So I draw my different characters, but with the help of AI, I can have a nice shading on top of it to sell the ideas better. Or it could be used also for a final asset when I see the result there. I just push the ideas a bit further for a full illustration. So I still draw, I put some basic shading. Here it was to experiment how much I should push the shading until the AI understand well the volume. And then I obtain a final result that is, for me, very nice. Or of course it have the result. It looks like a 3D. It was something that I wanted. A lot of people say to me, okay, but it's not your style, Raphael. But I say, okay, but I can't sculpt like this. I don't have the time to learn that, but I want that result. I really want that figure, that's action figures of Pikachu with a small penis, and I want to use it in my illustration. So I did it. And one of the last tools that I am using is Gigapixel. You probably know it. It's here since a lot of years now. It gives you the possibilities to rescale your pictures by 10 without losing any quality, and even better quality, because with the AI, it generates content where something is missing. And so it's the pixel of the pixels, and the rendering is very nice. Here I have transformed something of 2500 pixel into 10,000 pixels without losing anything. So yeah, very interesting. And the last tools that I'm using, it's ChatGPT. But you could ask, okay, as a graphic designer or as a concept artist, why should I use ChatGPT? It's only text. But I can ask question. I can ask question instead of looking in Google's and lose my time by looking a lot of article. Here, ChatGPT could condense the research. And let's say here I ask a question about the name of few tribe. I could say, okay, let's say about the Maasai, could you say to me where they are living, what they are eating, what is their clothes, what kind of material they use for the clothes, what are the name of those clothes, and then make further research on Google with all the information that I need in the process of my reflection. So I don't have to spend hours to read some article or Wikipedia. I could directly use that kind of information for my starting point. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you to be there to inform yourself. I just want to say, and that it's not the end of our job. Things are changing, like I saw you, but painting is still important. You still need to masterize the basics of creating 3D models, to paint, to sketch. Everything is still matters, because at the end, when I want to hire someone, it's because they masterize their skills. And speaking about hiring, you can you can come to me just after the presentation. There is 3 position available at Abrakam Studios, so take just the pictures about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raphael. You can stay here because we have some time for questions, right, John? Okay, yes. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be lots of questions already. So I'm not going to ask questions myself because it's more interesting that you ask your questions. I'm pretty sure this is a very hot topic. Just because it might be emotional a little bit, just keep it civil. But yeah, go ahead. Just raise your hands. I'm pretty sure there's someone. Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. Well, my first question is, of course, going to be around the ethics of AI, but my question is more to, so recently we've seen a lot of people are being opinionated about AI, especially when they catch, for example, big companies using AI. Like, we've seen a lot of PR backlash about that. So for you, how would you communicate your use of AI in a way that, you know, makes it more sensible to most people?
Yeah, probably the same way that I show my use of AI. We need to educate people. We need to educate the companies we are working with, because it's not just a simple magic button that they are thinking of. And for the publics, it's just a matter of months, because big games will be released with the use of AI. They will adapt to it. It's normal for the population to have something to say about it, but it won't change the evolution of these industries. So it will just become by force something that it's used to use the AI in the game production, even more than when we will show to the people that in their daily life they are using AI more and more with Windows, for example, or Lens app and that kind of thing. It will be natural to use AI in few months to come, for sure.
Yes, there.
Hello, I'm a student in Saint-Luc Art Numérique with my friends here. And since I'm working on a video game myself, and I'm trying to communicate with my partners for the video game, I realized that communicating with them is actually quite difficult when you try to achieve a common art style. So I was wondering if using AI can help with that, and if there are any implications as to like communication between the team members that can be facilitated by AI.
It depends of your position, but let's say that you are a kind of art directors into the project. Yes, you don't have to draw to give an order, or you just need to show different approach of what you want to produce, and it's for that you do a mood board, and it is the same tool as usual. Even with AI, we will still rely on pictures, so AI could help you to generate a lot of pictures in the same kind of style, for example, and it will drive the vision of everyone. That's what's your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, over there.
Yeah, I wanted to come back to this case about the Steam that refused the game generated by AI. What happened exactly? Is it because this game was exclusively made by AI?
It was because some content was generated by AI. Here it was mostly most of the game, even if the 3D was involved in the process to put this in Unity and make some space for the characters to move and so on. The basics was still AI, and the statement of the creators was it's made by AI. So everybody and Steam knew that it was made by AI. That was the main problem. And Steam state that, okay, if you can't provide that you use AI, that it's copyrighted free, something that it's safe to use, if you don't have the proof for that, you can't sell games into the platform. That's it. So in the futures, what will happen is that you will have to prove and that you use maybe Microsoft Copilot, that it's safe, and or Adobe Firefly, that it's a kind of contract of trust that will be sales with the use of those tools. But Midjourney is not in that case. So that's the big issue there for Steam.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so one of the things I'm thinking about when I think of how AI is currently changing the creative industry, I'm thinking back to the days where photography changed from, you know, like old photography to the digital photography, and how photographers have adapted to a more technical kind of job. Do you think this change kind of compares to this, or is it like really vastly different, the way artists have to adapt to AI?
Yeah, the people that love AI but don't draw, don't create, try to use this argument, but it doesn't work, because as a photographer, you still take the pictures, you still make art choices, and with AIs, except with stable diffusion and some control, you don't make any choice. So it's not comparable. But I could give you an important numbers that I don't mention in the presentation, but AI in 2 years have generated more content than all the photography that have been made in 100 years, in only 2 years. So it showed that it's totally different, totally different.
Okay, thanks for setting me straight. Yeah, another thing, like you mentioned, a stable diffusion and all the different tools that are available. I know a little bit about stable diffusion, how actually complex that has become. Is it like, do you think it's going to be a go-to tool for creators who want to keep control over their creative vision, or are the more easy to use AIs actually going to evolve and give people as much control as you can have with stable diffusion?
Oh yeah, it will become more easier in the years to come. There is already different kind of interfaces that you can download for stable diffusion. Some people is already working to make the use of those tools more easier than currently. So it's just a matter of time. It will probably Photoshop that will include that kind of parameters. They have already some AI filters with an interfaces that it's more easy to use. So yeah, it will change definitely in your pocket. Like I said, it's there.
Go ahead. There's probably time for one more question. Anyone?
The last
Don't
one.
be afraid. Okay. Okay.
Bye.
There's just one last one for Pablo.
I get to be the last one. Cool. You were mentioning Tim Sweeney and Epic, and your use of AI is pretty much to create content, but still always authored content. So you would still specifically say, okay, well, this piece of art goes into the game. Whereas Epic Vision has mostly been on runtime content. I'm like, nobody's authoring this, and we're just going to create games out of the blue every time a user presses a button. And do you think at some point there will be a merge of this, where like this, you as an art director will be able to give an art direction to runtime content?
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. Yes. That's still the jobs will evolve. Even for 3D artists and so on, we will take more and more decision. But if we are making the creation of those content more easy to do, of course, it will be the direction that will matters. So we will have to to force the softwares to do exactly what we want. It will be maybe more difficult than in the past. An artist is really easy to direct. You give pictures and he doing it. With AI, you never know what you will obtain. So maybe there will be some rollback about the use of those tools. We'll see. It's difficult to say because it's a huge game changer.
Thank you very much, Raphael. Please, a big round of applause for a speaker, and thank you all. And we are going to leave the mic for the next ones. Thanks for your presence.